What if you fell into Saturn's rings? At first, it would not look dangerous at all. From a distance, the rings look smooth, bright, almost peaceful. But that calm appearance is a lie. Up close, Saturn's rings are not a solid surface. They are a massive field of ice, dust, and rock, moving at terrifying speed. And once you get close enough, the beauty starts turning into danger. Fast. Saturn's rings are made of countless pieces. Some are tiny, like dust. Others are chunks of ice and rock. They all orbit Saturn at incredible speed, which means the rings behave less like a solid structure and more like a moving storm in space. If you fell into them, you would not be landing anywhere. You would be entering something that never stops moving. From far away, the rings look smooth because your eyes blend everything together. But that smooth look hides a lot of chaos. Every part of the ring system is in motion. Pieces collide, separate, and shift constantly. So what looks calm from Earth is actually a crowded, fast-moving environment with almost no margin for error. The closer you get, the more dangerous it becomes. Even tiny particles can hit with serious force because they are moving so fast. In space, speed changes everything. A grain of ice at that velocity is not harmless. It can damage, cut, or destroy exposed material in an instant. And the larger pieces are even worse. The rings would not feel like falling through empty space. They would feel like falling through a stream of frozen debris. You would be surrounded on all sides by particles crossing your path at extreme speed. There is no quiet landing here, no soft entry, no way to just drift safely through it. It is a collision zone. A lot of people think ice sounds gentle, but in Saturn's rings, ice is part of the problem. At those speeds, ice behaves like a weapon. It can strike hard enough to tear through anything exposed. So the bright, glowing ring system that looks beautiful in telescope images is hiding a much harsher reality underneath. At the same time, Saturn itself keeps pulling you inward. That gravity never stops. Saturn does not have a solid surface waiting at the bottom. It is a gas giant, which means the deeper you go, the stranger and more dangerous it gets. If you somehow made it past the rings, you would still not be safe. The atmosphere would keep getting denser, the pressure would rise, and the planet would take over completely. There are also small moons and clumps inside the ring system that help shape the structure. They create gaps and waves, almost like invisible hands sculpting the rings. That makes the whole thing even more complex. You would not just be passing through debris. You would be moving through a living system of gravity, motion, and constantly shifting material. The visuals would be unbelievable. Saturn would fill part of the sky. The rings would stretch in every direction. And sunlight would catch the ice in a way that makes everything glow. It would be one of the most beautiful sights you could ever see. But that beauty would come with a constant warning. Every bright piece around you is part of the danger. And here is the real problem. In space, there is almost nothing to slow you down. No air, no soft resistance. No easy way to stop once you start moving. That means falling into Saturn's rings is not like stepping into a place. It is like being carried into a system that does not care whether you survive it or not. The deeper you go, the worse it gets. Tiny impacts keep adding up. Your path becomes less controlled. The debris field gets denser in some areas, and Saturn's gravity keeps pulling you forward. So this is not one dramatic moment. It is a chain reaction of danger, where every second makes the next one harder to survive. If you kept falling, the rings would eventually give way to Saturn's atmosphere, and that is where the situation becomes completely unforgiving. The pressure would rise fast. The environment would become brutal. At that point, you would no longer be falling through the rings. You would be entering a planet that was never meant to be touched. That is what makes Saturn's rings so fascinating. They look peaceful from a distance, but up close, they are one of the most dangerous places in the solar system to drift into. They remind you that space does not always look violent. Sometimes the most dangerous things are the ones that look the most beautiful. So if you ever imagine yourself falling into Saturn's rings, do not picture a smooth landing or a magical ride through glowing bands.